Hi Leo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your June 2026 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Leo was the first house, all the way through to Cancer representing the 12th house. And once we get to the main spread, we'll pull an oracle card as well for some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the UFO Tarot, and for the Oracle deck, we'll be using the Wisdom Oracle. But we're actually going to start the reading off our own Astrology item we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Scorpio. So for you guys, Scorpio is actually your 4th house of home, roots, and family. Astrologically speaking, it's a little quiet there in June, but you could definitely have some focus on that area of life anyway. Alright, we have Uranus. So for you guys, Uranus is actually in Gemini, which is your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. And we have 1. So yeah, in this context, this could just be saying that you guys might have a little bit more focus on yourselves this month. As far as transits going through your sign in June, on the 13th, we'll have Venus move into your sign. And then at the very end of the month, we'll actually have Jupiter move into your sign as well. So it would make sense in that regard if there is a little bit more focus on you guys this month as well. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through the main spread. For the first house representing personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the 4 of Wands. So this is an Aries energy here. And what I'm getting from this primarily could just be saying that when you're within your home environment, right, maybe around the people who are closest to you, I feel like this is saying you're going to be feeling very comfortable this month, feeling like that's going to be just where you have the most peace, you know. So if you feel like in your outward environment there's a little bit too much going on, I feel like this is saying at least when you are at home within your, closed environment, you're going to feel a lot better about where you're at. All right. So for the second house of possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the 6 of Pentacles. So this is a Taurus energy here. And yeah, especially if we take this artwork into consideration, what I get from this is, someone might come along and try to make a deal with you, but I feel like this is saying ultimately it's really more for their benefit than yours, right? To the point where I feel like you probably wouldn't even accept the offer, right? So it's just one of those things where they might make it sound like, oh, they're giving you a great deal and everything like that, but I feel like you'll be like, I think you'll see through it for the most part, and because of that, you might be like, yeah, I think I'll pass. All right, so for your third house energy, which points to communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have the Hangman. So to see this here, could just be saying that, yeah, you might just be a little bit more withdrawn than usual this month. Right now, I mean, we did see the Scorpio energy come up with the dice, which, like we said, that is your 4th house. So it could just be one of those things where maybe you're just a bit more in a mood to just be within your home environment, right? Not really be out and about too much, just taking more time to relax. Now, some of that could be, there's a few different reasons for it. I mean, as we get toward the end of June, of course, we'll be in Cancer season, which is your 12th house, and 12th house transits can be a little bit more low energy. Like we mentioned, part of those 12th house transits will be Jupiter, which will officially land in your sign on the 30th, but obviously that means the rest of the month it's just going to be hovering in your 12th house, wrapping up the transit there. So it could just be one of those things where you just might feel like, of all months, it just might be a month where you just stay a little bit more low-key and keep to yourselves. All right, so for your 4th house energy, we have the Sun. So yeah, so between that and the 1st house, what we were just saying with the 3rd house, right, I just feel like this is saying, again, the message keeps coming up that within your home environment, you'll just feel like you're at your best this month. Nothing wrong with that, right? I don't think it's going to be that case in the long run, but at least for this month, it just seems to be a recurring theme already, that you'll just rather keep to yourselves. And this could also just be saying, if we take this artwork into consideration with what we see for the 3rd house, right? this crop circle could be like the aftermath of that abduction scene that we see in the third house, right? So it could also just be saying that maybe someone will say something to you this month that in a moment you're not quite sure how to take it, but with a little bit more time to look back on it and reflect on it, I feel like it's saying that you're actually going to view it as a positive. All right, so for your fifth house energy, we have the Two of Wands. So this is more Aries energy popping up here. And to see this could just be saying that for some of you, maybe you are going to put yourselves out there in some way, but again, I feel like it just might feel a little bit foreign to you, right? So again, that could be part of why you are just a little bit more comfortable in your home environment, right? Maybe there is a part of you that knows that you do want to put yourselves out there in some way and you do want to explore, but there could also be like an inner knowing as well that maybe this time just isn't the ideal time to do it. All right, so for the sixth house, which generally points to health, work, and daily routines, we have the Ten of Wands. So part of this could be what's at play here too, right? Maybe it's just saying that you feel like your work is just taking all of your time and energy this month. It could just be one of those things where like, okay, I can't really break away from this. So it could just be one of those things, right? Where, well, at a certain point you have to make decisions. And if you're like, okay, if the majority of my energy is going to my work, okay, I'll save some energy for my home, right? For the people who are closest to me. But outside of that, I'm going to have to withdraw a little bit, right? So that could be how this is all working together. And I will say, and this can make sense too, as far as you're going to have Mars in your career house for the majority of June too. It'll finally get out of there on the 28th of June, but that could be part of what's at play too, right? That's just putting a lot of energy toward your work. So for your seventh house energy, which in general points to partnerships, contracts, and relationships, we have the Five of Cups. So yeah, so this is actually a Scorpio energy here too. So to see this could just be saying that maybe for some of you, there could have been potentially a situation that might have come to an end recently, or at the very least, it's coming up to the forefront of your minds this month. It's where you could be looking at it again and trying to figure out where things might have went wrong, right? It might have seemed like it was pretty sudden. So maybe that's part of why you've been withdrawn a little bit as well, to try to wrap your minds around what exactly took place there. All right, so for your eighth house energy, we have the Chariot. So eighth house has quite a few different themes tied to it, but death, rebirth, intimacy, investments are the main ones. And to see this here, the Chariot usually points to an energy of just being led forward on a path where you don't even necessarily know where the destination is, right? Or if you don't feel like you necessarily control where the path is going either. So it could just be saying that all these situations that you have been going through, it's faded in a way, and it's playing out the way that it should, but it could just be one of those things where you might have a little bit of difficulty trusting that in this moment. All right, so for the ninth house, pointing to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have the Nine of Wands. So Sagittarius energy here. And to see this in the ninth house, yeah, it could just be saying that maybe you might feel like your beliefs are being put under scrutiny in some way. Now, for some of you, this could be from others, but for others, you might be putting it up to your own level of scrutiny, right? And figuring out, like, okay, do these things still fit for me, right? So you could be challenging yourselves in some way. But yeah, for some of you, could also be external as well. For your 10th house energy, we have the Hierophant. So 10th house in general points to career and social status. And to see this energy come up here, you'll just be saying that you might feel like things are a little bit too stuffy within your work environment, right? You might feel like there's too much red tape that needs to be factored in with decisions, right? And it's just one of those things where maybe that could be part of why you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed too, because you might see better ways to get things done, but they might be resistant to those ideas. All right, for your 11th house energy, pointing to friendships, groups, and hopes and wishes, we have the Six of Swords. So this is Aquarius energy here, and it's good to be seeing that maybe people from your past that you might not have connected with in a while, they could just be resurfacing this month. Now that would make sense to an extent as well because we were talking about the 12th house transits that you guys could be dealing with that might have you feeling a little bit more withdrawn and low energy. And one of those transits is pretty much on June 1st, we're going to have Mercury move into Cancer, which is your 12th house. It's going to be there the entire month, but on the 29th, it's actually going to start a retrograde. So that could be part of what could be bringing these energies up to the surface for you as well. But I do have to say, for the most part, it looks like if people do return, as far as, maybe old friends or groups you were dealing with, I feel like you'll actually be happy to see them. So it seems like maybe if there was a falling out of some kind, it wasn't necessarily on the worst terms to where you actually, or it's just enough time has passed to where you actually would appreciate them coming back around. And for your 12th house energy, we have the Three of Wands. So yeah, so this could just be one of those things saying that maybe for some of you, you have some anxiety around, well, kind of what I was saying there, right? Where it looks like you'll have some people coming back around that you'd be looking forward to seeing. For some of you, it could just be, this could be playing out a couple of different ways. For some of you, this could just be saying that maybe you're fearful of the wrong people coming back around, which if that's the case, seeing what we just saw there, I don't think that would necessarily be how it plays out. Or for others of you, this could also just be saying maybe you're putting a lot of stress and anxiety on yourselves, waiting for certain people to come back around, rather than being a bit more proactive and being the ones to reach out in that regard. And the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here, the last 10 degrees of Gemini at that. So maybe this is saying, like, let's say between the 10th and 20th, you might feel this energy the strongest, give or take a day or two. But yeah, this could just be saying maybe you feel like you're just burnt out, Like we said, it does seem like there's some interesting energies at play here that could point to that, and not the least of which, like we said, is the 12th house energies you'll be dealing with. So yeah, it could just be one of those things where you might just feel a little bit burnt out, and that could be why you're withdrawing. And if that's the case, it does seem like there is supporting energy there to say that if you do withdraw, again, like we said, it'll probably be short term because before we know it, all these energies will start moving into your sign and reinvigorate you. But it could just be one of those things where you just might have to do the best you can to avoid burnout this month. All right, so moving on to the Oracle card. I'm going to give this a few shuffles, then we'll cut the deck and pull a card and wrap up with that. All right, let's take this card, get this out of the way, and we'll see what you got. All right, we have Happy Happy. There's the artwork, and the number is 26. Well, I mean, like we said, it looks like there could be some stressful energies around here, but at least within your home environment, I could see the Happy Happy team fitting for sure, but we'll see what it says in the book. All right, central meanings says joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. The Oracle's message: your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. So yeah, so that last part of the message made me think of what we were saying with the chariot energy in your 8th house, right? Where, like I said, it might feel like you're being led on the course that you don't necessarily feel like you have control over at this time, but ultimately it probably would be for the best in the long run. the relationship message says there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card on a reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in the future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of it like bees to honey. So, yeah, I will say, to me, I would align that with what we were talking about with the home environment, right? Where, like I said, if you're around those you care about the most, those you're closest to, it seems like you really be happy. So, that seems to align with that as well. And then the prosperity message says, this is a time to take pride in your accomplishments. You're doing good work, providing exceptional service, and are well compensated for it. The world rains gratitude upon you, and you're happy with the results of your efforts and creativity. Isn't it amazing to consider all that you've done? Remember your partnership with Spirit in this moment, too. Your soul has always known you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. So, yeah, that was an interesting message here as well, because, like I said, it looks like you could be feeling a little bit overwhelmed this month when it comes to work. Like I said, maybe just feeling like there's too many rules that you have to follow, right, that seem to just make things more difficult than they need to be in the moment. But hopefully you guys are able to figure out a way to have more happiness around that as well. But yeah, we'll wrap up there, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.